Hey, what's up, guys? This is my second video of just kind of going over prototype decks and what I think I would swap in and out to customize the decks to make them a little bit stronger. So this episode is, if you couldn't tell from the title, Fire. So we're just gonna jump into it. I hope you saw my first video to explain what I'm doing. If not, please go back, watch the water one first, and this is Fire. This is episode 2, basically. So I'm swapping out these 7 cards in front of me. Trifernal. Oh, this is the big boy of the deck. Like, this is what you like. You want to get Trifernal out, but unfortunately, the way this deck is, Fire's really, really bad at rushing out big things. So the only major way you're getting Trifernal out in this deck is with Blazarus's ability that says if it destroys 2 Elestrals in the turn, you will special enchant a Trifernal from your deck or hand into play. So because we're just going to focus on getting this out with the special ascend, we're only running one in the deck because we're only going to need one in most circumstances, because it's generally we're not going to be able to kind of hard play it at 3. So we have one so that we hopefully don't draw it, and if we draw a Blazarus, we can use Blazarus to get it out. So I'm taking one Trifernal out. It feels bad because Trifernal is such a cool card, but we're taking them out. Circle of the Sky, same reasoning as Water. There's only one in the deck, although it's a great card. It is a little inconsistent, and we're not really doing anything with Circles of Sky in this deck except maybe messing with like a Volcanic Forge or messing with a Kindleo. So I don't think Circles of Sky is super consistent. I'd rather run an additional Kindleo, which is what we're going to replace this with in a second. So I took it out. Cinder, same reasoning as Water Deck. Although it's a solid card, there's no mill strategy in the game right now, so we're taking it out because it's got no support in this deck. Blackney is unfortunately at a 4/7, just too slow as a 2-drop, even though it has like the ability to stop attacks right away. One of the best abilities in the game, in my opinion, if you look at something like Rexeros when we go over the Thunder deck next. Blackney just doesn't quite cut it as a card. Like, not as a card, but in this deck likes to be more aggro. Now, with a lot of our sideboard stuff, you can go a bit more of a control focus, so you could leave Arachne in, take out some of the more aggro stuff, but I think this deck is most focused as an aggressive attack deck, so we're taking the Arachne out because it's not doing what we want to do with the deck. And then Pandora's Box, same reasoning as last episode. It's great in very specific unique situations, so we don't always want to run it. If you want more thoughts on Pandora's Box, I again mentioned that in the water. So now, what are we going to replace this with? So as I mentioned, we're replacing Circle of the Sky with the Kindleo. If you don't know why Kindleo is so good, Kindleo not only is a card that can remove Elestrals from the board, but if they have one Elestral in play and you use Kindleo, and Nexus say off a Hammer of Hephaestus to Kindleo, so now Kindleo is at 3 spirits, and you just destroyed their only blocker, you now attack them for 3. So this is both a control and aggro card. It opens up the board and attacks for a lot of direct damage. So we're playing third Kindleo because we want 3 Kindleos. Again, this is an attack aggro deck, so we're going to be playing a Valkyries because we want Valkyries gets huge really fast. So it's a big beater for 1, and we're going to use that kind of early game to help attack. We're going to play 2 more Eruptions because there was only 1 in the base deck. 2 more Eruptions makes this deck more consistent on the aggressive plan. You attack a bunch, use Eruptions to finish out the game, use Eruption to make your opponent expend some spirits early so they might not have the exact elements they need. Eruption's a great card in this deck. We're going to run 3 in the main deck. And then we're going to run an Ambrosia because Ambrosia is very solid. Ambrosia is very good. 1 Ambrosia in almost every deck is pretty useful. I'm not going to say it's necessary, but having at least 1 Ambrosia in every deck I think is very, not needed, but very useful and helpful and nice to have to kind of recur elements that we might have expended that we need now. And then we're going to replace our Pandora's Box with 2 different counter runes to give us some more control stuff. If you don't know, Shield of Achilles is one of the best cards to deal with high-costed Elestrals. So anything that's 2 or 3 cost, Shield of Achilles will bounce to your opponent's hand, and it does not target. So if you have something that prevents targeting from counter runes, Shield of Achilles says, I don't care, you attacked me with that Elestral, it's going back to your hand, and you just lost the spirits for it. Shield of Achilles is like premium removal, it's very strong. Poison Arrow, it's a little bit slower than Shield of Achilles, but at least it destroys an Elestral directly, doesn't put it back in your hand. It's great against 1-drops, some 2 drops, but it's great against like 1 drops to get rid of 1 drops on turn 1. It's almost like an Earthquake at counter speed, so you don't have to worry about using Earthquake on your turn. You could just play this, and kicker for this is because it reduces attack by 2, and a lot of the fire stuff has 4 or 5 attack. Generally, if you play this, your opponent won't be able to attack with that Elestral they just played, and then you just destroy it at the end of turn. So it's a great card. So that's what I would change in the fire deck. Again, my word's not gospel. You could, with the sideboard cards that we have, turn the fire deck into a more control focused deck, because fire has some of the best control and some of the best aggro cards in its color. So that's just my thoughts on this. If you guys have comments or concerns or think you can do better, just go ahead. Go mess around with cards. Try and make your decks better. Make the deck what you want to play. It doesn't have to be what's the best deck. What I think the best deck might not be what you think is the best deck. What I think is good might not be fun for you, so you don't want to play it, and you might throw some other stuff in your deck. This is just what I'm going to do with mine. Other than that, guys, I'll see the next video. It's going to be Thunder, and I'll see you guys then. Please, I appreciate any like, subscribe, not just to me, but please check out the other community content creators in Elestrals. You can find them in my channels tab on my channel, or just search up Elestrals and find people making Elestrals content. There's a bunch of us. Go support them as well. And it's free to subscribe. It's free to like, and I appreciate that stuff. So you guys have a great one, and see you in the Thunder video.